Hey guys, we're back again. It's another Monday, the day before Valentine's Day. I hope you all have a good one. I'll be spending it alone again. funny, sad. No. So today we're going to be doing the Grand Cathay Radious unit roster. We're going to be starting out again with the cavalry and the missile troops. And then we're going to move on to melee. You do get a new Lord option with Cathay. Yeah, we're just going to run through the same thing, starting off with the new Lord variant. This is going to be a melee Lord. The stats all around, I think except for melee defense, are going to be better. They're a melee variant. They're not going to have any spellcasting. I did check the campaign map. They are slightly more expensive than the dragon-blooded, but Will of the Dragon. They do have that amplifier still. Fury of the Dragon. They do have some cool abilities. They've got leadership, charge bonus, melee. They've got one for everything. They also have a really cool Fury of the Dragon. It is an area around them, so help them get out of melee, gives them some weakness to fire. It's going to be good with one of your new missile variants. This is his, they call the Celestial Champion. This is his design. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy Cathay's look. I like the kind of aesthetic they give off. We're going to do cavalry next, I want to say. And with the Golden Lancers, they're going to be the Celestial Dragon Guard of Horsemen now. So you've got the Jade Lancers, the Peasant Horsemen, and then the Golden Lancers. They're going to be... oh, that's another thing. The Celestial Champion, Magic attacks, Armor Piercing, bonus versus large. Golden Lancers, Magical attacks, Blinded, Anti-large, Armor Piercing. They are going to have that Yang bonus, which I personally have never really cared for the infantry and missiles. Yes, 100% yin yang all the way. Cavalry rarely gets that bonus, and from what I use them for, I rarely see them get the yin yang bonus, unfortunately. But they are going to have silver shields. Jade cavalry only has... why am I struggling? We're going to look at this because Jade Lancers, that's what they're called. Thank you. They're going to be silver, better at blocking arrows. Once again, similar aesthetic. It's in the Celestial Guard. This is the... wow, I'm really blanking today. I am so sorry. This is the Celestial Dragon Guard variant. Just like they have the Jade Warriors, Jade Halberds, Jade Lancers, Jade Crossbowmen. They now have a Celestial Dragon variant for each of them. Next, we're going to move on to the Missile Cavalry. With that, you have the Mounted Onyx Dragons. They've got bonus versus infantry on their weapon strength and their missile strength. Magical attacks, perfect vigor. They do have 5 spells moving, which I think most Missile Cav do. Something to note, these aren't an additional unit, they're replacing the Peasant Horse Archers. Those are no longer a thing. I forgot this was here, so we're going to make use of this. They are no longer a unit that you can get. There's no Peasant Horse Archers, so make use of these. They are tier 3, which means you're going to get them later than you could the Peasant Horse Archers, unfortunately. But much better stats, I do like their look. Their little daggers. I'll zoom in on this one. Their little daggers. Their cool little onyx blades. Next, let's move on to the... we divvied it up a little bit different this time. We're going to move on to the Riflemen now. We got 2 variants of new Riflemen. We got the Frontier Guards rifles and the Imperial Road Watch rifles. Starting with the Frontier Guards. Tier 3 again, they're going to have Discourage on both their melee and their missile, armor piercing, as most rifles do. They're immune to psychology. I do really like their looks. They're going to have pretty decent range, Some good ammunition there. Also going to be pretty okay in melee. Insane armor. And once again, really cool looks coming out of Radious. They have some really good models. I like the little kettle helms with the dragon face on top. And then the Imperial Road. Similar kettle helms. They're going to be less armored. Tier 2. They are going to have shield breaker and fire resistance for some odd reason. And then, of course, I might start doing this so you can check out the descriptions that they put. You guys can pause on them if you'd like. But yeah, yin yang, of course. Missile troops are yin, melee troops are going to be yang. Yeah, I really like their rifle designs. Not as much range as the Frontier Guards. Not as much really anything. They're going to be slightly faster, not by much, but really cool design all around. The guns that they give these guys are really nice looking. I really like the dragons. We're going to move on to crossbows. We got 2 more crossbow variants. We have repeating crossbows. They're going to fire faster than other crossbows. They have suppress, bonus versus infantry, armor piercing. They do have Vanguard. Both of the Jade Sea units have Vanguard. This is what they look like. Giant crossbows. These things are massive. Pretty cool looking. Jade Sea Dragons, not pirates, as the Jade Sea Dragon, the Sea Dragon is known for, from my understanding, but a little bit of a Sea Dragon representation finally. Hopefully we get her in a new DLC at some point. I'm really looking forward to that. There is a mod that does that. I don't think it's on the Steam page right now. I think it was taken down so they could work on it some more. I played it though when it was out. Really fun mod. She is a really good character. So I hope CA does that soon. And we have the Jade Sea Dragons fire crossbows. Crossbows are going to be the same. No different design on them. They look pretty much exactly the same. But these guys are going to have flaming attacks on both melee and their normal. On their melee, by the way, it's charmed. Something to note, the repeating crossbows have shields, the fire crossbows do not, so keep that in mind when you're going up against enemy archers. Charmed and fire, as I said, flaming attacks for their ammunition. They also cause flammable. Flammable does not stack, so I take it back when I said this is going to help a lot with the new fire variant, but that means their attacks are going to do more damage whenever they hit. Once again, Yin, Vanguard. I don't agree with the... I say I don't agree like you guys care what my opinion is on Radious. Radious, really good mod team, really good mod set. They do a really good job. These are just my little things. Like, why are these guys shielded but these guys aren't? Not my decision to make though. I just find it a little strange, but next we'll go to new archers. So we have the Onyx Dragons. Notice these are the mounted variants. I do really like that. I like the idea of mounted versus unmounted. Mounted versus unmounted. I don't know why they don't do that. Like Medieval 2, you had mounted knights and you had unmounted knights. That makes sense. Like why? I don't know why you can't do that. And then like 3 Kingdoms, you can dismount cavalry units if you want to. You can't do that in this one. But yeah, so Onyx Dragons, they're going to be a tier 3 archer unit. Magical attacks on their ammunition, not on their melee, unfortunately, which is the same for the mounted ones. Immune to psychology, perfect vigor. They're going to have some good range. These guys are going to be archers, so gunmen require line of sight, and then I believe archers are better at arcing shots than the crossbows, from my experience in Warhammer Total War. But same design, When they draw their weapons, they're going to have those little onyx blades. Then next we have the Frencher Guards bows. We had the Frencher Guards rifles. Now we got bows. They are going to be anti-large in their missile strength. They do have maces, which I think is a cool little thing. They're going to have discouraged in both their missile and their melee strength. Also immune to psychology, some magic resistance. Same design, little kettle helms in the mask. I do like the chest dragon with the jade eyes. They're pretty cool looking. I don't know. I really like models. I'm not big on lore, and I know Cathay by itself doesn't have much lore, but I really like the model designs they chose for Cathay. And then we're gonna have the Fearless Wall. This is gonna be a new little unit type and a new variant. You also have some melee variants of the Fearless Wall. They're going to be tier 2, okay range. They do have defensive stance, as they are a wall. Their weapon is armor piercing. Their ammunition is not, so they're not going to be doing a lot versus armored targets. Might want to hit them with some lighter targets with them, with the 20 missile strength. Just a new little thing. They do still have the peasant archers. These are just slightly above them. And then once again, bows instead of crossbows. Personally, I like getting archers better. If you look, like 180, and then 150, 175. Archers typically have more range. I like that. I want to keep my archers out of combat for as long as I can. So I do like having these archer variants. It makes it really nice for me. Obviously, each unto themselves, but yeah, that is the missile and cav. No new monsters or anything for Cathay. There's your lord, and then we're gonna move on to the melee troops. Hi guys, we're back. I want to apologize. There's now a week gap between the first clip and the second clip. I had made the second half and somehow my audio was busted. I don't know if I turned my mic off, like just being an idiot. I don't know if there was a disconnect somewhere, but the whole second half of the video did not have audio, and I have not had a chance to redo it. So here's this will be the second half of Grand Cathay, and I will also be attempting to put the next one out, which I think is Khorne. So we'll be doing Khorne in a little bit. Yeah, here's the second half of Grand Cathay. I did want to show you that the Celestial Champion does have a war horse option for mounts, so you can actually get him on a mount, so he'll be a little bit faster than everyone else. Because I know like dragon-blooded Shogunents are not terribly fast, but you'll be able to rotate him in and out of combat a little bit better. And then we're going to start out with the variants to the initial ones. So we have Peasant Swordsmen now. They're not going to be very good. No shields, very little charge bonus, expendable. They're just another option to the Peasant Spearmen and Peasant Archers. More and more with the theming. Like Jade Warrior spears now. So if you don't want halberds, you just want spears. These guys have shields. They have the silver shields, they have the charge reflections, charge defense versus large. They don't have the armor piercing that the halberds have, but they're going to be more anti-large, and they're shielded, which is nice against incoming archer fire. The halberds are not shielded, but same design as the Jade-Blooded Warriors and such, just with spears now. We also have a Celestial Dragon Guard sword variant. Going to be similar stats. They're going to be more offensive rather than defensive. Shields. They do have expert charge defense. Silver shields, but yeah. Same design on all of these, just different styles. And actually, I feel like less of them have hats. But yeah, so those are the three that are already in the game. They just get a new variant. We also have new Terracotta Automatons. They're going to have charge defense versus all, charge reflection, perfect vigor, unbreakable,
spell and physical resistance. They're gonna have sundered armor, bonus versus large, silver shield. They're gonna be a good staple. Unbreakable is always nice. They're gonna fight to the death instead of breaking or routing, breaking or disintegrating even like the undead. Their shields glow. They're all twitchy, like kind of like skeletons actually. I think skeletons are kind of twitchy in this game. But yeah, and then of course everyone in here is going to be Yang, if I'm not mistaken, because that is the infantry side of Yin and Yang, the melee side of Yin and Yang. But yeah, that's the terracotta animatons. They're going to be more defensive, not a good charge bonus. They have some decent armor, not very fast. They're not gonna move like humans. But next we're gonna go on to the Frontier Guards. As I said, it has been a week since I've done the thing. Yeah, so they have rifles and bows. Sorry, Discord. So we have a sword variant. They're gonna be tier 3. Silver shields, discouraged, bonus versus infantry. They do once again have the expert charge defense, woodsman, magical resistance. Really cool designs all around. These are going to be the most more offensive variant because you also have spears. Now to keep in mind, these guys do not have shields. Going to make them a little bit more susceptible to missile fire. Both of them really good armor though. As you can see, definitely more defensive than the other one. They do have that charge reflection though, and the bonus versus large. Same design, discouraged. They do have really cool designs. They're just Cathay is really pretty. I like the color schemes. But yeah, there's your Frontier Guards, a new tier 3 infantry. We also will go to the Jade Sea Dragons. They're going to be the same as the crossbows with the Vanguard deployment. We have a spear variant. They're going to have the charmed effect, -8 melee attack, charge defense versus all, anti-large. So they're going to be kind of a. These guys are both. We'll go into this first. They have maces and shields now, armor piercing, charmed attacks, silver shields. They don't have the expert charge defense like the Frontier Guards do. They do both have the physical resistance though. So these guys, you have now a whole pretty decent, these are tier 3, pretty decent front line. You can send them up. You're going to have armor piercing and anti-large that you can put up front with your crossbows, hold the front line while the rest of your army gets set up somewhere. Or like if you want to set them up as kind of like a barrier for the rest of your army to move up. They're going to be pretty good at doing that. They're pretty well set in their role. Obviously more susceptible to archer fire or missile fire. Not a ton of armor, but they're going to be able to do their job. They're going to be able to flank if you need them to flank. They are a little slow, but I think most of Cathay is a little slow because they're heavily armored. But using them as like a solid front line, like this is the map I use for all of my stuff just to mess around with it. You could put them right up here. You could have a whole line of these guys right on the bottom side of this hill with their crossbows above them, and they could hold this front line against the enemy while everyone else pushes up. Personally, I like that. I think that is a good concept to have. Their Cathay's Vanguard was not very powerful, but now they have supplements. We'll move on to the Imperial Road Watch. I believe these guys also had a bow variant? Rifle variant? Oh, they had a rifle variant, okay. But here's their armor and stuff again. They do have the burnt effect. That's going to give them weakness to fire. Help out with any fire attacks from the lore of... I believe it's the lore of Yang, right? Yeah, the lore of Yang. There's a lot of fire spells in there. But yeah, they're going to have that. The burnt effect. They do have a fire resistance, charge reflection, bonus versus large. These are the spear variant. Bronze shield, pretty good armor. They're going to be able to take some arrow fire. But yeah, just another tier 2. If I'm not mistaken, they are better. Yeah, they are better than the Jade Warriors. Yeah, there's the spear version, and then they also have a sword version, or sword variant. Same thing, burnt, fire resistance. They are going to be bonus versus infantry. They're going to serve kind of the same thing, a little bit higher tier than the Jade Warriors. Other than that, not much different. They're going to be a little bit. These guys are going to be a little more offensive than these guys, but all in all, just another new tier. And then they do give you, for most of these, they give you melee and missile variants, so you have some more theming to your armies, which I really enjoy. I really have fun with that. That's kind of why I like the swords for the Dragon Guards and the spears for the Jade Warriors. Because if I want to have a full Celestial Dragon Guard army with the crossbows and the infantry, now I have swords to add to the halberds instead of having to supplement that with some Jade Warrior halberds or Jade Warrior swordsmen. We'll go on to the Fearless Wall next. Another tier 2. These guys are going to be, I think, interchangeable with the Jade Warriors. They have similar stats. These guys are going to be axe infantry. They do have that armor piercing because of it. Big shields, not a lot of armor. They do have the sundered armor effect, though. The defensive stance that the Jade Warriors have. That is something to note. I do not believe... Yeah, no one else has the defensive stance other than the Jade Warriors and the Fearless Wall. But yeah, axe infantry, armor sundering. Still really cool design. Really big shield. I don't know why the bottom of it's cut out. I feel like that just leads to getting hit in the feet, but also is going to make it a little bit less weight. They do have a halberd variant. Once again, these guys are going to be shielded over the Jade Warriors who are not shielded, their halberd variant. Charge defense versus all. They both have the missile resistance. Armor piercing, anti-large. Little pokies. But yeah, these two, you have more variants now than just using the Jade Warriors. You have the Fearless Wall, you have the Imperial Road Watch. It gives you more of an option. Cathay's roster was very limited in what you could and couldn't do, and they've buffered that out a little bit. But next we're going to move on to some very elite infantry. I loaded up a Mao Ying campaign. These guys come from Tier 5, the Tier 5 unique building in Nangao. I don't know where else, but that's Tier 5, so these guys are going to be very late game. They do have the Armored Sundering. These are the Great Sword variant. They have armor piercing. Now, these guys just look like samurais. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. These guys are samurais through and through. I love the Great Sword animation with their high guard ready to deflect or attack from there. They're really cool looking. I don't know. I love samurais. I was actually, since it's been a minute, I've actually looked more into my scheming for sorry, I'm stretching. My scheming for Stormcast Eternals and Space Marines. I really want to do kind of a samurai aesthetic. I was looking at that. Maybe not for the Stormcast Eternals. They all look kind of the same except for their colors for the most part. The Space Marines, from my lookout at least, or outlook, they have more of a variety when it comes to armor variations, and so they would be kind of my samurai stuff. Instead of chain swords or normal chain swords, maybe they have some katanas, stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting to do. But yeah, this is the greatsword variant. They're called Sworn Gatekeepers. They do cause fear. They're gonna have that immune to psychology. A decent charge bonus. Still gonna be slow. They're pretty heavily armored. You can't move too fast when you're that heavily armored. They do have halberds, a halberd variant as well. They're going to have that charge reflection, the expert charge defense, still the fear, the missile resistance. Immune psychology, they're going to have armor piercing and anti-large. Keep in mind though, neither of these have shields. If you get into combat with some armor piercing missile fire, they are going to get whittled down pretty easily, unfortunately. The armor is going to help against those lesser tier missile fire though. Same design, they just have the halberds. But yeah, I really like their look. I love samurai. Samurai, shinobi, ninjas, whatever you want to call them. Like that whole idea of feudal Japan just makes me happy. I enjoy it. They do not have the sundered armor. Keep that in mind. The great weapons, or great swords, they have the sundered armor, which is a minus 20. These guys do not, so keep that in mind when using them. You want to make the best use of the units' bonuses as you can. But yeah, here is Cathay's infantry now. A lot more variants. They give you enough to where you can theme your armies however you want them. You can have a full army of Fearless Wall. You could have a full army of Imperial Road Watch. They give you the options to theme things however you want to theme them, and I really like that. If I'm going to have an army, I'm going to want them all to be similar. Like, I'm going to have an army full of Jade Warriors and Jade Lancers and Jade Warrior Crossbowmen. I'm not going to have some Jade Warriors on top of Celestial Dragon Guard, on top of maybe Jade Sea Monks, because they're that Vanguard deployment, but I'm not going to have the Frontier Guards in there as well, because now I have that option for the Jade Warriors. So, very, very pleasing for me. Obviously, everyone's going to do some different things, but yeah, there's Cathay. Next, if I'm not mistaken, is Khorne, so I will see you guys hopefully a little bit later.